I was one, so JJ started and Santiago, his dad, started challenging me to do solos, go out alone into the wild style. I'd have a hammock, a headlamp, 3 days worth of food, some fish hooks, a machete. That's it. And so like one of the stories that happened early on was I was out there and it was raining and I was lost, and this is how we test your jungle knowledge. Can you survive out there? Do you know how to find food? Have you listened to the things that we taught you? And there was one night that I was in a hammock and a jaguar came up, and I was asleep when it happened, and she came up right next to my head, and she was and I could hear her smelling me. And then my first instinct was to turn on my headlamp, and just the sound of my arm moving against the material, and she just right here, I could feel her breath, and I just laid there in the dark. And that's one of those moments where you really learn a lot about yourself, because I wasn't scared. I felt like I understood the intentions of the cat. If she was hunting, I'd already be dead. She was curious, and I was lost, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get out of that jungle. But what she did was energize me, because it was an experience like the giant anaconda, where I said, this is so wild that it's so almost cinematically outside the realm of what I thought my life could be like, that it made me like, wait, because the previous day I was lost, tired, confused, kind of devastated, tail between my legs. After that, I was like, man, you've been waiting for this your whole life. Go get it. And I like woke up and I was like, I am going to navigate. Even though I've been in this swamp for 3 days, I'm going to find my way out of this swamp. And like, she just like breathed fire into me, where it was like, if that's possible, if I could be 6 inches away from a jaguar's face, then I got that energy from her.
So that you're able to start to really hear and feel the jungle around you.
Yeah.
That was a sign that you know what you're doing.
It really felt like a sign. It really did.
How do you survive in a solo hike through the jungle? What are the different components? What are the different dangers? So you said you had a hammock, you had some food. What kind of food, by the way, are we talking about?
Nuts, stuff that won't go bad. Because you can't really start a fire in the Amazon. Like, I'm a good fire. I mean, I camp all over the place. I'm a wilderness guide. Starting a fire in the Amazon is futile. In fact, a lot of survival manuals will tell you don't do it, because if you're really lost, it'll break your spirit. You're not going to be able to do it.
That's dark. Yeah,
they're like, don't even try it. But you can still get like hypothermia from, if you get wet and you lay out in the jungle, you could still, exposure can still get you. So you want fire. I even, in the beginning, I used to bring like ramen noodles, which is nutritionally is irrelevant. And so I started bringing like nuts and then supplementing that with fish, which forced me to become a very good fisherman. And, now of course JJ knows that they can cut certain roots and they bash it up and they put it in the stream, and the fish just float to the top and they take what they want. So like he's got all the cheat codes.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm sitting there with a hook, and then he'll go, now find bait. And I go, bait. In the most competitive ecosystem on earth, good luck finding a worm.
Yeah.
You can't do it. What does JJ do? He takes the machete, looks at his foot, cuts a slug of callus off of his heel, because he's got this thick rhino skin.
Nice.
Puts that on the hook, catches a 6-inch fish, chops it in half, puts it on a bigger hook, and in 15 minutes he's got a 4-foot giant catfish that could feed a family of 16, and he's happy. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm trying to like stick a beetle on a fishing hook, and like,
Do you have just a line and a hook, or is there a rod too?
Just a line and a hook, and then you just chop a rod and tie it to you just chop a little sapling.
So are you still able to start a fire, or no?
I like for the food that I bring to not be fire dependent.
Sure.
And so if I have some nuts, I can shove in enough calories to get me through the night, or and leave a fishing line out and there'll be something there in the morning. But yes, I can start a fire, but a lot of times what I'll do is I'll bring a flask, and not with like alcohol, but with diesel. Mm-hmm. And